WWE legend, Matt Hardy. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you guys?
I can't complain. No complaints here. None at all, man. Listen. You got Extreme Reunion coming up here in Philadelphia and New York. You're fighting the main event Friday in New York. What are you doing Saturday? Tell us a little bit about Extreme Rise and how you're going to help out with it and make it better.
Well, I definitely think myself, along with my brother, obviously both fit into the mold of Extreme during our tenure in WWE. I mean, they nicknamed us Team Extreme. That wasn't something we came up with. That was something that our fans and the WWE came up with, obviously. So I think Matt Hardy and Extreme Rising go hand in hand. So I'm really excited about the event. I'm wrestling Jerry Lynn. It's the first time ever. Someone who I've always been a big fan of. Someone who I think is definitely underrated and has been underutilized throughout his career, being Jerry Lynn. Me and him are going one-on-one for the first time ever in the main event in Queens, New York, and we're going to tear the house down on that, I can promise you. In Philadelphia, they haven't announced my match yet, but I promise you it's going to be something special that people in Philly do not want to miss.
Mike Cahill?
Again? Yeah, Matt, I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about how you're I know that you had last time I had seen you was in Chicago. You had mentioned that you were having some issues, some health issues that weren't allowing you to wrestle on a regular basis. Can you give us an update on where you are in terms of being able to wrestle a full-time schedule?
Yeah, I right now, I'll be honest. If I'm doing 1 or 2 nights a week, I feel really good. If I double that or a little more, doing 4 or 5 nights a week, it would be a little too much for my body right now. I'm sure of that. Basically between resting and recuperating and working out, I do an hour of cardio every day. I've had some non-invasive procedures done on my back. I have a couple different other procedures and techniques I've used to help break up scar tissue in my back. Myself and Irby Sky, we're getting ready to start DDP Yoga, which should also help break up and alleviate a lot of my scar tissue. A lot of guys I've talked to have sworn by that, so far. They said the DDP Yoga is very, very good. So I'm feeling better, and probably the biggest thing is just that not having to maintain and have the pressure of that full-time schedule and knowing that you have to deliver night after night after night. A lot of times when I go out and do stuff on a regular basis, nowadays, obviously, for me, it's fun. It's easy. There's not a lot of pressure, not a lot of pressure to have to deliver on a main event, WrestleMania style main event level. But I still make sure the fans are entertained. But this Friday and Saturday, the pressure is going to be on me because I'm in front of a very smart audience. I'm in front of an ECW style audience, and Friday and Saturday, I'm going to give them 110%.
Yeah, man, it's funny that you mentioned DDP Yoga. We've had Diamond Dallas Page on, and he, raved about it and talked about how other people have used it and furthered their careers, get healthier. Now, is that something where in the future you might consider going back to TNA or WWE in the future?
I don't know. My main plans for the future is to be happy, healthy, and fulfilled in whatever I'm doing. Right now, I've got a lot of things that I've just taken on as far as like my new website, MattHardyBrand.com. It also has a shop, which is shopmatthardy.com. It has all my new merch, and I'm constantly working and producing more of these things. I have some old ring-worn stuff in there, and Rebby Sky has been the mastermind behind it. And her and I together, people have called us Sky Hard, but we're trying to make Sky Hard into our own machine, much like a WWE machine, and promote ourselves and take that as far as we can go. So right now, that's kind of what I'm focusing on. Down the road, if I get healthier and the situation arises and something does pop up where I could do something with some sort of controlled schedule that I think I would feel healthy or be happy with, then I would say never. It's the pro wrestling business.
Matt, you mentioned before about you're going to be in front of some hardcore ECW fans in both New York and Philly, and you were ECW champion, albeit WWE's version of ECW, and I know that a lot of those diehard ECW fans are a little critical of WWE's version of ECW, so I was wondering how you expect to be received by the crowds in both New York and Philly, and what you think you can do to win them over.
I'm very much looking forward to being given a mixed reaction. There's a lot of old school ECW fans that obviously detest the WWE version of ECW, and I'm not going to sit here and say give me respect or give me credit because, I was the ECW champion in the WWE's version. My biggest thing is if I deserve any respect from these guys is because of the ladder matches and the TLC matches I helped put on the map and the table matches and the cage matches and, all the things I did that fit that extreme genre that, helped, ECW and Attitude, which both came along at the same time, which made the business hotter than it's ever been. I think I've played a critical point along with Jeff and the Hardy Boys in helping the business move along in that area. So, the people that respect me, that's cool. The people that don't respect me, either because of I was a WWE guy or because they don't like me personally, whatever it may be, that's cool. As long as they're cheering or booing, I just want everyone to enjoy themselves and have a good time. Like I'm expecting to be cheered, but I'm also expecting to get booed. I'm actually looking forward to both.
Listen, as somebody who was there at the Philadelphia one, the first one we had in April, you will definitely get booed because these guys come there anymore just to be smarky, it seems. But you know what? As somebody who's seen you work your ass off in the ring, and if there's one thing, Philadelphia, New York too, I can't speak for New York, Brandon Galvin, you can, but we respect hard work. So if you get in the ring, especially against a guy like Jerry Lynn, he's gonna work you, man, you know what I mean? He's gonna run you around that ring. It's gonna be good stuff. And as long as you work hard, they're gonna come after you, and you know it too. So now, go ahead.
There's never been a point where in my career I wasn't willing to work hard and not willing to work hard. That comes along with my passion of just being a huge fan and being wrestling being a part of my livelihood and obviously of my being. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, whatever the people do, I will react to it accordingly because more now than ever, Matt Hardy is pretty much the character you see in the ring is pretty much the real person I am. But to me, internally, I'm very, very good at separating the reaction I get outside of the curtain as opposed to behind the curtain.
Let me ask you something now. Now with your perception and the way the crowd's going to react in ECW, are you thinking about playing this up as a heel? Because this would be a great time. If they're booing you, just feed them beast here. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the deal is part of the whole art of the professional wrestling business. I mean, you might have a game plan when you go into the ring as far as, like, what you're going to do or what the story behind your match is going to be, but you never know. The audience can change that. Sometimes if you're wrestling in the Northeast and it's a smarter, more educated audience, you're going to get a totally different reaction than you would if you were in the South, which is more of an old-school type audience. So one of the things that makes someone a really good professional wrestler is being able to react to whatever the crowd does on the fly, and I'm pretty well versed in that, and I'm pretty excited to do it either way. So regardless of what they do, myself and Jerry Lynn, if it's a good guy versus a good guy match, then that'll make my day. If I'm a bad guy, then I'll do good in that. If I'm the good guy in there and he's the bad guy, then I'll excel in that role, whatever it may be. But they can do whatever they want. I just want them to react. A lot of people give John Cena a hard time because they hate his act, but one thing about John Cena, he evokes emotion, whether it's good or bad, and that's the most important thing. As long as people are doing something, you're okay. When they're sitting on their hands and they're not doing anything, that's when there's a problem.
Yeah, great point. Mike Cahill, you?
Yeah, man, one of the reasons I was personally excited to have you on the show is you've done so much in your career, and you've really been at the height of your profession. And then, you spent time just like everybody else kind of going through the motions maybe where you're not used as much or you're not quite as visible. Can you kind of take us through what it's like to sort of be at that height and then sort of, what it feels like when you're maybe in a, personal stretch of time where you're maybe not being used as much or you're sort of on the back burner a little bit? Can you take us through what it's the contrast to what that feels like as a performer?
Yeah, I guess so. But to me, you're going to get a very different perspective, like especially because of the highs, the goods and the bads I've been through. Like, I've just really learned to appreciate every moment of life, regardless of what it is. Like, there's a big trade-off in that. Like, for instance, I can say when I was, at my height in WWE as, Jeff and I were doing our thing and we got over huge in late 99, in 2000, 2001, I don't even think we realized how big of a deal we were until we were able to look back on it. But even later, once I became like a single guy, which was something that a lot of people never thought I would do, and regardless of what people think about myself or Jeff, we both succeeded as singles competitors because we had such long runs in the career, and we both were over on a level of being singles wrestlers. As a singles wrestler, when I was like working for WWE, ECW, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on you because you knew like you had to deliver every night, especially when I was the champ. Whatever the ratings were on the show, you knew that was going to reflect on you. You knew you had to make that flight at 7 a.m., and you knew you had to be in business casual because of WWE's dress code. You had to be there very punctual at 6 o'clock, and all this stuff was very stressful and full of pressure, like that comes with any other job. But it really paid off whenever you got out and you wrestled in front of a crowd of several thousand people, and also you were on TV and everyone saw you night in and night out. Okay, on the flip side of that, on a smaller level right now, if I do something and I'm wrestling for Extreme Rising, which is going to be fun, I'm sure there's going to be, over, 1,000, 2,000 people at both shows. So they will be really exciting, really fun shows. The fans are going to be very interactive. There's not going to be a strict dress code. If I'm there at 6:07 as opposed to 6 o'clock, if that's my call time, I'm not going to be fined. There's not going to be anywhere as much pressure and scrutiny on me, so I get to enjoy it a lot more. And that ends up being the situation all across the board whenever now I'm doing indies here and there. And for me, it's still, I'm fortunate because I was on TV so long. I still make good money. I still have fun with it. If I didn't want to work and just stay at home, I could do that as well. But now myself and Rebby, and whenever we're together, we have such a great time. We've been on the road traveling and working together, so it's a lot of fun. And it also allows me not to be wrestling 5 days a week or 250, 260 to 300 days a year on the road. So there's a lot of times we just get to hang out at home. We get to chill. We get to go to Jeff's and swim in his pool, or we get to go to the beach, or we get to do whatever we want. So there's definitely a trade-off on either side. You might be a bigger star, but you're going to sacrifice a lot of your personal life. On the other side, you're not going to be as big of a star, but you're going to have much more of a rewarding personal life, I'd say.